If you're making $75,000 a year and still feel broke, this isn't about budgeting. It's about something much bigger. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's a particular kind of person you see everywhere in American and European cities. They drive a nice car, not flashy but respectable. Maybe a leased BMW 3 Series or an Audi A4. They wear clean, branded clothes. Their apartment has good lighting for Instagram. They go out on weekends. They're never without the latest iPhone. And if you ask them how they're doing financially, they'll smile and say, "Pretty good." But here's the uncomfortable part. Most of these people are one bad month away from a financial crisis. They look successful, but they're not building wealth. And the gap between those two things is wider than most people realize. Today, we're going to talk about why so many people who appear to have made it actually haven't, and why the ones who are genuinely building wealth often look surprisingly ordinary.
Let me introduce you to someone. Let's call him Marcus. He's 29, works in marketing for a mid-sized tech company in Austin, Texas. Salary, $75,000 a year. Sounds solid, right? After federal tax, state tax, Social Security, and Medicare, Marcus takes home about $55,000. That's roughly $4,580 a month. Here's where it goes. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood, $1,650. He could live further out, but then he'd spend more time commuting, and honestly, the area matters for his image. Car payment on his leased Audi A4, $520 a month. Insurance is another $180. Gas and parking, $200. Student loans, $350 a month. He's been paying for 6 years. He'll be paying for 6 more. Credit card minimum payments, $280. Most of this is from furniture he bought when he moved in, a vacation to Miami, and a few dinners he didn't want to skip. Utilities, phone, internet, subscriptions, Netflix, Spotify, gym, meal kit service, another $320. Groceries and food, $500, though he eats out more than he plans to. We're now at $4,000. That leaves Marcus with $580 a month for everything else: socializing, clothes, Ubers, an emergency, anything. And Marcus isn't irresponsible. He's not buying luxury watches or booking business-class flights. He's just living what feels like a normal life for someone at his level. But here's the thing. Marcus has no meaningful savings, no investments, no safety net. He looks successful to everyone around him, but financially, he's fragile.
So what's happening here? Marcus is making a subtle but devastating mistake. He's optimizing for the appearance of success instead of the reality of it. And here's why that's expensive. When you lease a car instead of buying used, you're paying for the experience of driving something new. That's a luxury. But it's framed as normal. Marcus is paying $520 a month, $6,240 a year, for a car that he'll never own. Over 10 years, that's $62,400 spent on vehicles that gave him zero equity. If he'd bought a reliable used car for $12,000 and driven it for 7 years, his true cost would have been maybe $1,700 a year. The difference? $4,540 a year, or $45,400 over a decade. Invested in a basic index fund averaging 8% annual return, that would have grown to over $70,000. That's not a lecture, that's just math. The same applies to rent. Marcus could live 20 minutes further out and pay $1,200 instead of $1,650. That's $5,400 a year. Over 10 years, invested, that's another $82,000. Here's the part that stings. Marcus doesn't feel like he's overspending. He's not buying yachts, he's just living like people around him. And that's exactly the trap. Because normal in the United States and Europe today is designed to keep you looking successful while quietly preventing you from becoming wealthy.
So why do smart, educated people fall into this? It's called social proof. We measure our financial decisions not by logic, but by comparison. If your coworkers lease cars, you lease a car. If your friends live in expensive neighborhoods, you feel behind if you don't. If everyone's traveling, you book trips you can't quite afford. We're not wired to optimize for wealth. We're wired to fit in. And in societies where consumption is visible and savings are invisible, fitting in is expensive. There's also a second layer, the illusion of stability. Marcus has a salary, he can make his payments, so it feels like everything's fine. But he's on a treadmill, he's maintaining, not growing. And the moment something breaks, a job loss, a health issue, an economic downturn, the whole structure collapses. Wealthy people understand something that people who look successful often don't. Time is more valuable than appearance. The person driving a 10-year-old Toyota and living in a modest apartment might seem like they're behind, but if they're saving $1,500 a month and investing it, they're not behind, they're ahead. They're just ahead quietly. So what does this actually look like in practice? Let me show you someone else. His name is David, also 29, also earns $75,000 in the US, also takes home $4,580 a month, but David lives differently.
He rents a smaller apartment 30 minutes outside the city center, $1,100. He drives a 2015 Honda Civic he bought for $9,000, no car payment. Insurance, $110. Gas, $120. Student loans, same $350, but he threw an extra $2,000 at the principal last year from his tax refund, so he'll be done 2 years early. No credit card debt. He uses one card, pays it off every month. Subscriptions, he canceled most of them, kept Spotify and a shared Netflix account. That's it. Groceries, $400. He cooks, not because he's cheap, because he likes it and it's healthier. His monthly expenses, about $2,700. That leaves him $1,880 a month. He saves $500 as an emergency fund until it hits 6 months of expenses. Now he invests $1,500 a month into a diversified ETF portfolio. The rest covers life. David doesn't post much on social media. He doesn't wear logos. If you met him, you wouldn't think, wow, this guy's got it figured out. But in 10 years, he'll have over $250,000 invested. In 20, over $800,000, and he'll still be in his 40s. He's not depriving himself. He just made different choices about what matters.
Here's the reality. Looking successful is expensive and temporary. Building wealth is cheap and permanent. Most people spend their 20s and 30s trying to prove they've made it. They lease the car, they rent the apartment, they go to the restaurants. And by the time they hit 40, they realize they've been running in place. A smaller number of people spend those same years living below their peers, and by 40, they're financially free. The difference isn't income, it's not intelligence, it's just a choice about what you're optimizing for. You can look successful now or become wealthy later. It's very hard to do both at the same time, and the people who figure that out early are the ones who win quietly. If this made you think differently about your own money, consider subscribing. I make videos like this 2 to 3 times every week. Calm, rational, no hype. Thanks for watching.